also with these, I use them to initially shut down power to the brain right there. Okay, in the last video, I talked a little bit about connecting the character sheet, the symbol, and then also an external trigger. And in this video, I want to talk about symbology and how it works and kind of the magic of it. So with a symbol, you can have immense amount of information associated with it. Let's say every time you look in read a certain book, you look at a certain symbol, and then every time you learn anything about this, you think about that symbol, and then so every time you think about that symbol, all of a sudden, all this knowledge that goes along with it is populated in the mind. So, for instance, let's say you decide to start cooking, and you draw a little circle with a little pot and a spoon, and you want to learn about cooking. Every time before you begin learning about cooking, either practicing in the kitchen, watching a YouTube video, or talking to somebody about it, you draw that symbol or look at a sheet of paper with that symbol. And the brain is going to associate your cooking activity with this symbol of a circle with a little pot and a spoon. But that image will come to represent and be almost like a file drawer of all the information that you've compiled on cooking. So when you go into the kitchen to cook, when you've trained for a year and you're like, I just want to freestyle it and go crazy in here. Well, instead of randomly being like, what did I remember? When was that? You think of your symbol that represents everything you learned about cooking, and then everything auto-populates in your mind, and your mind is set up just for cooking, and you can access all those different files immediately. And that's what the power of a symbol does. It can contain volumes. So, for instance, here is my personal symbol and outer wheel that I've been working on. And so each one of these contains volumes and volumes of volumes. So initially I'll log in with this. That's the personality that needs to come up. And then what skill do I want to use? Okay, so maybe I want to do learning. Okay, I'll put my symbol up, and then I'll start focusing on that item that I'm going to learn about. And I'll even set out a token to make it a very serious time of like, this is learning and applying to this symbol. And so I'll set that out, and during this time, I'm focusing on putting in information underneath this wheel, so then we can go down here to different areas. Here's another one, creativity. So if I want to get down and play with Legos, basically creativity is just like all the possible building blocks and ideas that just populate all at once. So if I lay down with Legos and I think about the login logo, and then, not logo, symbol, and then I think about the symbol for creativity, then I just start grabbing pieces and put it together. It gives me this big stream of creativity I have access to. So then also with these, I use them to initially shut down power to the brain right there. So the first thing I use is that. And when I draw that symbol, it symbolizes bringing all the power to the base of the spine, then dropping it. Because your brain is powered from a power source. And how do you think the brain runs? Power runs through it. Energy follows awareness. So if you bring your awareness back here, draw that symbol, you can hold all the energy going to your brain. So your brain's just like in idle mode, ready to receive input. So from there, what you do is, or what I do is I draw this symbol next. That's of the human body. And that gives me immediate full access and brings my awareness to inside all my muscles and my skeletal structure. And this is excellent for preparing for an exercise or a workout where I can go in and observe, tighten, hold, move, energy, and move, get the muscles ready for the next movement. So we'll get more into this. Your login, I guess that's your login, you could call it, but then you have your outer wheel of your different skills and capabilities. What's badass about this though, when you're focused and you're in the flow, you can log all this in at once, and at any given moment you can have access, clear access to any of this. So, and this goes into like learning about very, very clear memory, and like, you know how priests in the old days, like they memorized many hours of scripture that they could recite, and they would recite it perfectly. And then also, let's say you have the Freemasons, who they can have access to tons of memories. My great-grandfather, it was said, he was a Freemason. He could, well, I knew he was a Freemason. He could speak for 8 hours from memory. Well, here's the cool thing. It's not stored in your brain. All those memories are not stored in your brain. Your brain is just the processing unit to bring in that memory that needs to be accessed, or that knowledge, and then it converts the data in your brain to information that you can munch up properly and understand. Boom. All right, that's that video.